Hi, welcome to Give Me the Bible, where God's Word speaks for itself. In the last video, we contrasted preachers and pastors, and the two words that we used to kind of encapsulate those roles were proclaimer and manager. Now, I have a feeling that people, when they hear the word manager connected with pastor, that probably sounds a little bit cold. Probably we're thinking about the corporate world and CEO, somebody who maybe is on a power trip and what they say goes, and you have to follow their orders, and if you don't, well, you're going to get fired. And that's kind of the thinking that we have when we think about the word manager. And so I want to just explore that a little bit more in this video when it comes to pastors as managers. First of all, let's go to 1 Timothy 3 because I want to show you that this is biblical language. I'm not making up the word manager because I just thought that would be clever. Well, no, look at what Paul says in 1 Timothy 3. He actually uses this word to describe the role of a pastor. There's a qualification here that a pastor must have. He says in verse 4, 1 Timothy 3 verse 4, he must be one who manages his own household well, keeping his children under control with all dignity. But if a man does not know how to manage his own household, how will he take care of the church of God? The word manage there just means to preside over, okay, or to superintend. Some translations actually read rule there. He must rule his own household. Look in 1 Timothy 5 and verse 17. I'll show you this again. 1 Timothy 5 verse 17, the elders who rule well are to be considered worthy of double honor. So this concept of elders, pastors, having a rulership over a congregation, okay, having a management position of overseeing. In fact, they're called overseers sometimes, right? Superintending a congregation. This is very real in biblical language, but we need to understand what it means here in a biblical context, and particularly in a Christian context. Look in Matthew 20. In Matthew chapter 20, Jesus teaches us what true rulership is about in His kingdom. Now, James and John, their mother, comes to Jesus and asks on their behalf if they can have rulership positions in His kingdom. Look in Matthew 20. Oh, better get to the right page here. Matthew 20 and verse 21. He said to her, "What do you wish?" And she said to him, "Command that in your kingdom these two sons of mine may sit on your right, one on your right and one on your left." So Jesus hears this request that they want to be rulers, they want to have this prestige and this power. But what they don't understand is, in order for Jesus to become the king of His own kingdom, He's going to have to suffer and die. And so He tells them, you don't even know what you're asking. You don't understand. If you want to be a leader and a ruler in my kingdom, it's all about self-sacrifice and even dying, okay, in service to the flock and those under your charge. All right, they don't understand this, and so Jesus then will explain to them a little bit further down in Matthew 20 verse 25. Jesus called them to Himself and He said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them." In other words, in the world outside my kingdom, in the CEOs, in the classic corporate world, in the sense, okay, Jesus says, they lord their power over them, and their great men exercise authority over them. But it is not this way among you. But whoever wishes to become great among you shall be your servant, and whoever wishes to be first among you shall be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give His life a ransom for many. Jesus teaches that real management, rulership, headship, okay, involves self-sacrifice and love and service for those who are under your charge. This is what Jesus shows us. And what's interesting is, remember we said that the word pastor is just another word for shepherd. Well, Jesus was the good shepherd, He claimed in John chapter 10, and He said He's the good shepherd because He lays down His life for His sheep. So in order for pastors to really know what it means to rule over a congregation, they need to look at how Jesus rules over His kingdom and take their notes from Him. Look in one more passage in 1 Peter chapter 5. 1 Peter 5 really brings all of this together in a beautiful way. 1 Peter 5 verses 1 through 4. Therefore, 1 Peter 5, 1 through 4, therefore I exhort the elders among you, as your fellow elder, and witness of the sufferings of Christ, and a partaker also of the glory that is to be revealed, shepherd the flock of God among you, exercising oversight, not under compulsion, but voluntarily, according to the will of God, and not for sordid gain, but with eagerness, nor yet as, remember Matthew 20, look at the language, nor yet as lording it over those allotted to your charge, but proving to be examples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the unfading crown of glory. So he says, as you rule as pastors of a congregation, don't do it just because you have to or you feel like you're being forced. Do it because you want to shepherd these sheep. And don't lord your power over, don't dominate and say, you will follow my orders or we're kicking you out of the church. There's none of that going on. He says instead you prove to be examples. You lead by following the chief shepherd, and then your sheep will respect you and they will love you and they will hear your voice and they will want to be on the same page with you as you manage and lead them to heaven. That is the picture of management of a pastor in the Bible. I hope that that is clear and helpful, and Lord willing, I'll see you in the next video.